Welcome to the Bleed Norwich podcast. So, hello everyone and welcome back to the Bleed Norwich podcast, an emergency podcast as every other Norwich page has done so far regarding the news that Marcelino Nunez, Rat Judas, is off to Ipswich Town. Jack, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, mate, all things considered. Listen, it's a shock to the system, eh?
You could certainly say that. Obviously, when the reports first came around, we didn't really know who to blame. I think there's a lot of parties involved that do need blaming. Ben Napper and Marcelino Nunez and his representatives, I think, are the main culprits of the whole situation. Jack, how did you feel when this news first broke yesterday evening?
I didn't want to believe it, to be honest. I thought it's got to be a joke, surely. But after just having a little scroll on Twitter or X, shall I say, yeah, it was almost as if I'd been kicked in the knob and thrown down the stairs.
I think you've summed it up pretty well. It's a very emotional time for Norwich fans. I don't think we've been in the position since Andy Marshall where we've actually sold to Ipswich, and even then, I believe he was a free agent when he left. So it was a completely different circumstances. It wasn't down to the club; it was Andy Marshall himself. But now this is the club selling to Ipswich. This isn't, as much as it is Marcelino Nunez's decision, we could have said no and give him the Alexander Isak treatment, which we should have done. If he wants to move to Ipswich and he's at Norwich, you lock him away and you throw away the keys. Let him train the under 18s.
Yeah.
Let him fucking take pelters in red arse from the under 8s or something. You know what I mean? Like, we're not selling to Ipswich. I shouldn't know. Like, that's not how. Like, there's simple things in football called rivalries, called derbies, where one club hates another, and you don't do business with that club, especially at senior level, because it gives the club that you hate an upper advantage. And it does. We've sold probably our second best player, our best midfielder by a stretch, to our biggest rivals. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Now, for me, I mean, £10 million, including add-ons, for a player that is in the last year of his contract. I think, listen, any other team, great bit of business.
That's what I said
right?
on when I've done it on TikTok, yeah.
But I think the thing is, we've sold him, or sold. I'm not sure if anything's been officially announced yet at time of recording. But selling our, like you say, our best midfield player to a direct league rival. Let's not even touch upon the fact that they're our local rival as well. But you don't sell one of your best players, or any player for that matter, to a direct league rival. You just don't do it.
And if you do, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because then you have to play them later in the season. And again, they've then got more quality in their side. And it doesn't make sense. And it's also the fact that we've gone around the whole summer with Napper and Norfolk Holdings Group, Atanasios, Manning as well has probably had a say in this. The fact that we didn't need to sell this summer. We're not in any financial difficulty.
Yeah.
And this is also the first offer we've had for Nunez.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that baffles not just me, but everyone.
Every Norwich fan, because now we feel such a sort of distrust and disconnect from the club that had been built over the summer. You know, we felt connected. The signings we were making were positive. We were very happy with the summer window. We were very happy with everything that was going on. But the last sort of week or so, it's plummeted down a hill, hasn't it? And again, like I say, I go back to this feeling of distrust in the club. We've been led to believe that we didn't need to sell Nunez, didn't need to sell Sargent, and all of a sudden we're taking up the first offer that we get from Nunez to Ipswich Town, and I think that just absolutely baffles me.
Yeah, I think it goes to show that um, the owners, Napa, obviously, they don't bleed green and yellow like all of us. They don't see it. They see it as a business, which don't get me wrong. Yes, it is a business nowadays. Let's not beat around the bush there. It's a business. You've got to earn money, right? And I get that. But the only thing is, you don't sell. You don't sell to them. Like, I think
It's an
I'm
awful
just lost
PR
for
move
words,
because you
mate.
you got to think about it with again this whole sort of ideology of not needing to sell. We've upped season ticket prices. There's extra prices where we've upped in the club where everything's quite dear, and yet we're still selling a player to Ipswich Town. And it creates that sort of confusion amongst the fan base now, where we're sort of out of touch with the club again. We've gone from feeling so close and connected to completely feeling out of touch and just in a space now where we don't have a connect to the club. And like you say, the owners and Napa, they don't bleed green and yellow, but you don't need to bleed green and yellow to understand football, the game of
Yeah,
football. Yeah,
yeah.
when have you ever seen? I mean, you've seen the uproar of what happened with Sol Campbell. I mean, that was never, you know, Andy Marshall with us as well. 24 years ago. I'm pretty sure the older generation of Norwich fans will all remember that. But I just don't get how you can go through that process and think, oh yeah, that's a good deal. Let's get him off there.
I think obviously just touching upon ownership, and I know there was a lot of kind of it was heated towards the end of Delia and Michael's reign, but it begs the question of would they have done the same? Would they have sold to them down the road at Ipswich? I don't think so, because I feel like
Yeah, no,
they understood what it's like to be a fan. They understand that we are passionate fans, both sets of fan base. Let's not take that away from them down the road. But in this instance, right, it's about us. They understood. Delia and Michael understood the pain and the heartache of everything that we felt as a fan base. So for me, obviously, yeah, they wouldn't have done it. I don't think. But would they have also splashed as much money of what we have so far this window? No.
yeah. I was going to come on to that. I think there's sort of two sides of the story here, and yeah, I mean, would Delia and Michael have sold Nunez to Ipswich? I think hindsight's a beautiful thing. Probably, again, like you say, probably not because they were fans of the club and they did bleed yellow and green. But like you say, they again, we've got to move with the times as a
Yeah.
football club as well. We need to have more financial stability, and be able to sort of spend on players who want to compete at the top end of the championship. And we've done that by bringing in obviously the Norfolk Holding Group, the Atanasios, and and we've been spending the cash this summer, and it's been great, and we've been signing some really good talent. But this whole window where we have been so positive and so upbeat with the business we've done has just all sort of plummeted by the fact that we've sold Nunez to Ipswich. It's all got none of it matters now. It doesn't, and I'm on that boat. It doesn't matter. We could have signed fucking. I mean, not anyone, because I do think there's one sign that would lessen the blow a little bit, which I'll come on to. But I think we could have spent all sorts of money, and it wouldn't have mattered because we sold Nunez to Ipswich. It doesn't quite add up.
Yeah. I think one thing I was watching the Talk Norwich City podcast earlier this morning
Very good podcast,
when
very good podcast.
yeah, yeah, when they released theirs, spoke very well, and because they're obviously both diehard fans, it shows that it's affected everyone. And the boys made a good point. Obviously, as we know, obviously when O'Neill was here, so he was doing his match day vlogs and that kind of stuff. And I think it was Chris touched on Marcelino hasn't really bothered to want to learn English as such. So for me, his heart wasn't in Norwich for the long run, in my opinion, because even when he's posting on Instagram, it's not in English, which there for me, there's that disconnect from the fans there. Yeah, you've got the C translation button on the caption. I get that. But there's that little bit of disconnect that already starts there, which has then obviously worked its way. So for me, he was never in Norwich for the long run.
Yeah, it was a very interesting podcast that talked Norwich City boys. Obviously, they've got more inside scoops than what we do, and
Of course.
to sort of hear their views on it and bring up sort of stories that we haven't heard before. Obviously, the Nunez Ipswich links haven't just surfaced from nowhere; they've been going on for the last year,
Yeah.
and Nunez has been pushing for it, which is silly. And he's a prick for it. What a twat! And yeah,
Yes.
the whole English thing. Obviously, he's been obviously offered to have English lessons whilst at Norwich. He's denied that opportunity. He had a translator. The club obviously just binned that off. And I can't blame him if he's got sort of no sort of willingness to
No
learn.
intention to
Yeah,
learn
to
it.
learn
Yeah.
English. And the fact is, obviously, like you say, he's sort of come here as a stepping stone. Um, but the fact is, the club should have never led him to believe that this club is a stepping stone. This
Yeah.
club is a big club. Norwich are a very established club in the English football leagues, in the Championship,
Yeah.
in the Premier
Yeah.
League, always flirting in between the two. Um, and yeah, no, he's treated Norwich with complete disrespect with his whole time here. And like you say, with his Instagram post, it's very obvious that he doesn't want to learn English. Like you say, it is all in his native language, and which is fine. But we see the likes of other players that have come from abroad and different countries and whatnot. Their posts will be in English. They will thank the fans in English. I don't think I can ever seen a Marcelino Nunez post thanking fans
No.
for their constant support. Yeah, no, he's a prick.
Um.
But I just wanted to
Yeah.
touch on something because I don't want to
Go on.
lose my track of thought. Because I did say about 2 minutes ago that there's one player. If we did sign him, it would massively lessen the blow. I don't think this signing will ever happen. I think it's completely. It's just never going to happen. But there is one signing that would lessen the blow. Jack, any guesses?
You've lost me, to be honest, mate.
Ben Napper, the Atanasios, Liam Manning, Zoe Webber, Emi Buendia. He's available. Get him on a loan. Obligation to sign if we get promoted for 20 million. That would be the only bit of business you could do to even remotely soften the blow here. But yeah, that's anyway. Jack, back onto you.
Um. Yeah. We'll come back to that. All right. I just want to touch upon and listen. I'm going to be playing devil's advocate here. Right.
Horrible
Just
game to play, Jack. Horrible game to play.
yeah. No, I know that. Right. But you're on about a stepping stone. Okay. So I'm just going to rattle off
No,
some names for you. No, 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 no. James Maddison,
okay.
Ben Godfrey,
Yeah, okay.
uh, Max Aarons,
Okay.
Todd Cantwell,
Okay.
Emi Buendia,
Okay.
Gabriel Sara.
Okay. And
Now,
nine,
have
nine,
they or have they not used us as somewhat as a stepping stone?
yeah, but have they also treated the club with the utmost respect? Yes, they have.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And that this is
Right?
my issue. It's the fact that they didn't treat us as a stepping stone, those players, when they were there. They gave their all for the shirt, they gave their all for the club, and they never went to Ipswich and never disrespected the club in any way. Marcelino Nunez has actually, now when we look at it, continuously proven to disrespect Norwich and the football club, and is now going to Ipswich. a sideways step if you think about it. You know, they're going to be towards the top end of the championship, yeah. Norwich could quite well be up there as well. So at the minute, it's a sideways step. We're above them in the league currently.
Yeah. Obviously, like I say, I agree with you. I am equally as pissed off about the whole situation as yourself, and I'm sure everyone else is. Um, but yeah, that's all. That's the only point I was going to make, and I was going to go on to the fact that it's not even a forward step for him in his career. It's literally going what we do best, left to right, going
Let's
side by side, going side
let
by side.
side to side, side to side. But yeah, we
Yeah,
will. I'll go on to like obviously a few things that I've seen on social media, which I thought would be good to to bring up. Um, oh, I saw someone post on Twitter, NCFC at NCFC0204. His username is just J. I really think that Nunez isn't bright enough to realise the implication of what he's doing. If you put his brain in a dog, he would moo. Oh, I thought that would. Sorry, I thought that makes me laugh. In the same vein,
yeah, no, that's
Maybe Napa isn't either. He successfully turned 99% of the Norwich fan base against him. Yeah, because Napa got so much praise over the summer, and rightly so. He deserved that praise. The business we done was very good, but that's all come back to
uh,
bite him now by him sort of accepting the Ipswich interest into Nunez. Now he's off to Ipswich.
yeah. I think I tell you what, Ben Napa has some serious cojones
Has
because
he?
he must have because he's now
That's,
got to sit there and take all of because he'll be there in the stands
yeah, he's got to take a lot of
at home and
criticism.
away games, and he will have to take a lot of criticism. Now, if he can pull off an absolute fucking miracle, right, and somehow entice Emi Buendia to come home, right, which I think, let's be honest, if anyone can do it, right, it'll be Ben Napa with some help from Zoe Webber because who brought Emi Buendia to us in the first place?
Stuart Webber.
There we go. Right. So there's going to be some Tice there. Let's
Oh,
not forget, he spent some very good years with us. I believe his son was born in Norwich. And let's face it, most players that play for us, I mean, by, players that play for us, I mean, players that actually feel at one with kind of the fan base
yeah,
and
that
the city in general,
don't
they
disrespect the
want to
club.
come
Yeah,
back
yeah, yeah.
because there's one thing that a footballer can't do, and that's disrespect a fan base and the club. And that's exactly what Marcelino Nunez has done and is doing.
Yeah, no, he has, and the fact is, all the stories that have been coming out over the last sort of 24 hours or so, or less than that, it's really sobering to see sort of how much of a little prick Nunez was. If I'm honest, I was saying in a TikTok video yesterday, I just never thought Marcelino Nunez would do that because all we see is we're looking from the outside in, but now we'll have stories coming out from the inside out.
Yeah.
It's it is quite sobering just to see how much he has actually disrespected Norwich. Now he never really wanted to sort of stay here for too long. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it is crazy to think. Obviously, we touched on the sporting directors. I do want to just ask you one more question, Jack. Whilst we're on the sporting director topic, our previous predecessor, Stuart Webber. Now, Stuart Webber got a lot of stick, and rightly so, from Norwich fans. He made some questionable comments and questionable decisions.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have ever made a bigger cock up as Napa has done? Do you think he would have sold Nunez to Ipswich?
No.
I don't think he would have either.
No.
I
Don't
don't think
get me
any.
wrong. The bloke was a lot of things, and he was he was a bit of a prick as well. Um, but I don't think he'd have done that. I really don't think he'd have done that. I mean, he disrespected the fan base as well. Let's be honest. He fucking ripped into the fans in the stake pit. You know, the divorcees and all of that
We'll
crap that
see.
he was spouting.
Isn't that what
Right?
your season tickets, Jack?
Luckily, I gave that season ticket up a long time ago. You couldn't pay me a penny to watch that crock of shite. Only joking. If anyone has a ticket in the Snake Pit or Barclay E Block, then let me know, please. Thank you very much. Um, but no. Long story short, to answer your question, no, he wouldn't have. He would not have sold any player to Ipswich Town.
No, I absolutely agree, and yeah, it's just the whole situation is very it's humiliating, isn't it? The one thing I will just touch on now is obviously when the news all broke out yesterday, Marcelino Nunez got offered two contract renewals and over last season and the summer, and he turned them both down. Norfolk Holding Group, which is obviously Atanasio, they were happy to let Nunez run down his contract, which again I think we should have done.
Yeah,
Absolutely, but yeah, so I don't think they're too much to blame in this. I think that they have done sort of that they have said, we'll just let him run down his contract. Which I think if Nunes left on a free to Ipswich, I wouldn't necessarily hate the club because Nunes would have said no to the contracts, and it's Nunes' decision
exactly.
to go to
Yeah,
Ipswich. It's not then the clubs. The club aren't involved then. So I just
yeah,
have full hatred for Nunes. But now I've
yeah,
got such a distrust, and I just feel unaffiliated with the club now,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's a big issue.
Um, it's a big one. And obviously you mentioned there that obviously the Athanasios done all they could. They said, listen, you just run down your contract, bud. You know,
Sticking with the
that's
under
fine.
23s.
So yeah, in that respect, they've done a bit, right? But at the end of the day, right,
Still more needed to be done.
they the more needs to be done from them. They need to be so firm and put their foot on. Nah, this isn't happening. You can go, but not to them.
And
And
also, and
unfortunately
yeah,
for you, Marcelino, you've not had any other offers come in for you. So looks like you're stuck here. So I suggest you move your shit out of the first team dressing room, get down the way into the academy dressing room because that's where you're going to be for the next 12 months. Okay?
yeah, I think I'd have been happy with that. Yeah, it's yeah, like you said, it needs to be a bit harsher with the Nuno situation rather than just sort of let him go. And it seems like we've just given up and lied on our backs with it. Yeah, no, it's not great. Obviously, the big topic is we do play Ipswich on the 5th of October. I will be there at Portman Road. I'm really worried about it now as well. It just screams like a Nunez winner for Ipswich now, doesn't it? Which player do you think should snap Nunez first?
In all honesty, I couldn't give a shit.
Do you not want to see his legs broken in two?
No, I do. But what I'm saying is, I don't care who does it.
Just someone do it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, no, one player I'd love to see do it.
Oh, we know.
Kellen Fisher.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought you were going to say
Because the
Shane
bloke's
Duffy.
built like a stick. He's built like a stick, and I love the bloke. Great player, great player. But he's not the biggest. I'd love to just see him fucking clatter through the back of him, and I can give a shit what happens to him. It was like fucking falls off. Marcelino, that is, of course.
As you can see, we haven't lost our heads here. No, I'm looking for a Mirko Topic cruncher on Nunez. Um,
Mm,
yeah, and I think Norwich players should target Nunez. Absolutely, he's a prick. He's treated them like mugs as well.
yeah.
And again, I think Norwich fans as well need to take a stance at the next game. Get some chants going. There's a really good one that I saw on Twitter. I think it was I don't care about Nunez. He doesn't care about me or care about his NCFC. I think that needs to get going at Blackburn and home games for the foreseeable. I think that's important for fans to voice that because players need to know that they can't take us fans and the club for mugs like Nunez has
Mm,
done. What Nunez has done is
yeah.
completely unacceptable and criminal in the footballing world. But yeah, no, it's a really tough time at the minute, Jack, isn't it? To sort of bring everything together.
Yeah, I think. Listen, on his day, he's a good player. So for us, it is, you know, especially, I think it's a loss. Putting my sensible head on now, I think it is a little bit of a loss. But if the player doesn't want to play, fuck him off. Not to Ipswich, but fuck him off.
Throwing him off to
You
any
know,
other club or the under 23s, never
that's the
Ipswich.
thing. You look at the very similar situation that's going on with Newcastle and Isak at the minute. Eddie Howe has been like, listen, you can go as long as the price tag matches up with our valuation, and we're not going to sell you for anything fucking less.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna be a child about it and refuse to play and this, that, and the other, then you can come in at different times and train on your own. Train with the 23s. I don't know why we haven't done that. Well, it feels like we've just fucking buckled. First offer that's came in,
And
we
don't get me
thought,
wrong,
yeah, do you
like
know what?
the
That'll
money
do.
the money is really good if we're looking at it just from a financial viewpoint. It is very good money for a player in the last year of his contract who's injury prone. But that's
Yeah,
besides the point. It's Ipswich. You don't sell to them.
exactly.
It's a moral thing. And
Exactly.
like, Ben Napper will never understand that because he doesn't bleed yellow and green. But he does need to sort of get a grasp of it to make sure that this situation will never happen again. Because
Yeah,
I'm fearing if this season starts poorly, it could get very ugly very quickly.
yeah. Oh, definitely.
And obviously we've been touching on Nunez this whole time, fucking slating him, rightly so, and obviously going through the whole situation. We've completely forgotten that we've actually got an incoming. Uh, I mean, it's Pelle Matson, who we were linked with earlier in the summer. He's not exactly a direct replacement because he's more of a 6 or an 8 rather than Nunez, who's more of an attacking threat. And I don't think it looks like we are getting a direct replacement for Nunez. But obviously, Pelle Matson is being brought in as an extra midfield option. We've been linked with him over the summer. Jack, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it's a panic buy.
Yeah,
I really do. That's how it looks because it's not a like for like replacement. We've had one player that's gone, and we've thought, yeah, we need someone here, and we preferred Topic over Matson earlier in the window. So if I'm Pella Matson, I'm sat there thinking, well, fucking hang on a minute here, chaps, right? You wanted him over me, but now he's going. Now you want me again. That's how it comes across to me.
that's the thing.
Um, and he reminds. I've seen a couple of clips of him. It reminds me a bit like a Kenny McLean.
That's
Not
not a bad
afraid of a
thing.
challenge and can spray a ball out wide. He can run direct at defenders and then pass it off. I like it, but it's not a direct replacement. It's a panic buy.
Yeah, I think I don't know if panic buy is the right word, but it might be actually. It's yeah, just everything you said is completely bang on the money. If Matson was the a better player than Nunez, the Nunez replacement, wouldn't he be brought in earlier in the window? Wouldn't we have done the business already? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like I say, I don't know if it's a panic buy or if it's one that we've had in the locker for a while that we were always going to bring him in had we lost a midfielder. But yeah, it does come across that way. I do agree, Jack. It's yeah, and I feel sorry for Pelle Matson because he's been caught up in this all. And he's got such sort of high, like big boots to fill.
Yeah,
But yeah, he is younger than Nunez and arguably has a higher ceiling, I believe. So we'll see what he has to offer in a Norwich shirt, and I wish him all the best in the circumstances because it's going to be tough to navigate, especially with everything that's gone on.
yeah. It's going to be, I think, a big shoes to fill. Especially let's face it, it's not a like for like replacement, as we've said. Um, how's he going to fit in? Because to me that looks like we're going very, very defensive this season. Because as you said, he is more of a six slash eight, whereas Nunez is kind of more of a 10,
Yeah,
kind of.
not a 10, but sort of a progressive
But
8.
yeah, more
Yeah,
he's more of an 8 over a 10, but he's more of a 10 than a 6.
yeah.
Um, so it's just it baffles me. I mean,
Yeah, this is the thing.
he seems a good player. He's made some. I think he's made 3 caps for the under 19 Danish side.
There we go.
Um, but
You've
again,
done your research. You've done your research.
I've done my research. I've been.
I did message Jack this morning because I think we agreed to do this maybe last night or this morning. No, it was this morning at 6:30 in the morning.
First thing this morning.
I had football in the morning. I play 9 aside on every Thursday morning. I had a free afternoon, and I messaged Jack and Alex. I was like, "Look, we need to do an emergency pod here. I've got so many thoughts in my head. I've got so many feelings that I
It's like
can't
a
just sort of."
therapy session.
Yeah, this is it. This is a therapy session. So yeah, no, it's been so tough, sort of. Just I guess sort of finding the words to sort of describe the situation because it has put all Norwich fans into complete shock. Like we didn't think this would ever happen,
Yeah.
and we didn't even think it from Marcelino. Obviously, like I said, we always look from the outside in. We didn't ever expect Marcelino Nunez to be like this. He always seems like a very happy, bubbly character. But then, when realistically, when the news stories have come out from the outside in, from the inside out, sorry, it's it's proving to be quite the opposite. And the fact that he's never actually bothered to learn English is very crazy.
I think it says a lot. I think it would make more sense if he was kind of looking for a move abroad. Um, but he's not. He's moving about what 40 minutes down the road.
Yeah, I hope you got a translator ready, Ipswich Town, because you're gonna need one.
Yeah, but he's not going to use it though, is he? Because I
Well,
think it's going to be the same story there.
that's the thing. Yeah, now all these stories have come out. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I think there's sort of a couple more bits to touch on. I want to touch on Onel Hernandez.
Okay.
I think Onel's a fucking quality bloke, and
Hmm.
he's really proven it. In his sort of socials and obviously the Pink Under a live podcast last night. Breaking everything down. Onel Hernandez popped in. I will read out the quote. I know some podcasts probably won't, but yeah, I've got no
Us
shame
here
in.
at Bleed Norwich, we will.
We'll do the pleasure for you guys. So Onel Hernandez said, Norwich shouldn't sell to a rival, especially not to Ipswich. Money isn't everything. I'd rather lose him for free in the summer than sell him to Ipswich. If you care about the fans and the club, you know. Yeah, and I think he's spot on. And the worst thing about it is that obviously when we watched Onel Hernandez's YouTube vlogs last season, him and Marcelino Nunez were very, very close. It seemed they're good friends. And it does seem like Nunez has now actually lost Onel as a friend. And
Hmm.
I don't think, like, I don't know, that seems quite serious. Like the post that I'm seeing Onel Hernandez make, and he made a montage of, um, I think basically wanting Kenny McLean to snap Marcelino Nunez in the derby. It's more,
That's what I got from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, I think Chris Reeve touched quite a lot about it on the TNC podcast. I know him and Onel are quite close, so I'd definitely go check that out to find out a little bit more. But I think that sort of just speaks into the severity of the situation and what Nunez has done to her ex-players, friends, people at the club, fans, in terms of forcing this move. Like his whole time at Norwich, his name will forever be tarnished in just hatred.
Yeah. I think, you know, Onel gets it.
Yeah.
You know, he came over. And let's face it, the bloke fell in love with Argos before he did the football club.
Yeah.
You know, um, but I think, and let's face it, Onel didn't have the easiest ride whilst with us because he was out on loan for a few seasons. And, that can kind of rub a player up the wrong way. But it felt like he kind of took it very well, like a duck to water kind of situation. He didn't sit there and like, oh, fuck this, fuck that. You
Yeah,
know, he kind of got on with it and remained very professional about
and
it,
still
and
loves the club.
and still loves the club to this day.
And yeah, like you say, fans haven't given the easiest of journeys. A lot of sort of I won't say disrespect, but obviously sort of negative comments towards Onel's performances over the few years have been dished out his way, and some of them I think are rightly given. As fans, we pay to watch him. I think we have the right to criticise, and obviously if a player's not playing well, we can criticise them. And
Yeah,
Onel,
definitely.
there was situations where Onel wasn't playing well, and he did get criticised, but he never sort of then hated the club because of it. He still loves the
Mm,
club and, still gets what it means to
yeah,
be a Norwich player. And Nunez just never understood what it meant to be a Norwich player and the disrespect he showed throughout this whole situation. And yeah, it's still mind boggling that this is actually happening.
yeah. It's just fucked. You know.
Yeah.
Um, it's good to see that O'Neill's kind of there. Like, hang on.
And there's a lot of ex pros as well that are doing it that used to play
Yeah,
for Norwich. I will go find a couple of tweets. I believe Darren Huckabee,
Aaron Huckabee was a big one. I see that earlier.
he did.
Um,
What did he say? This is when he saw the article. This is April Fool's, right? What the fuck am I reading?
yeah,
With a shocked emoji and angry emoji. So I think that says it all. Um, yeah, it's yeah. You got players like Darren. I think Darren Eady also um said something in response to it as well, and obviously he's got very close links with the club as well. So for him to even sort of comment on it is also quite crazy. And I think again, it speaks into the severity of the situation. Like this should never happen. You should never sell to your rivals, and it has seen sort of everyone connected with Norwich City Football Club sort of voice their opinion. All the fans, ex-players, it seems like news reporters. Um, we're even seeing people who are closely connected to the club also voice their opinion on the situation. Which is good. It needs to happen. I think the current Norwich players need to know that this is unacceptable and this can't happen, and should see the backlash that Nunez receives and think, yeah, I ain't ever leaving Norwich to go to Ipswich
yeah. It'll be interesting to see. 'Cause I think they've got that night with Liam Mannon at Carrow
tonight.
Road tonight.
Tonight, yeah, I'd love to see how that
Um,
goes down. I'm hoping to get this up by about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So,
yeah. So if anyone listening to this is going tonight, please drop into our DMs with a video or something of people questioning him in regards to the Nunez saga to Ipswich. It'll
'cause
be
I'm
interesting to
sure
see
Manning
and
would
hear
have
his
had,
take.
yeah, he would have had somewhat of a say in it, but I would love to see Manning's take on this whole
Yeah,
situation. But it does seem like Napper's days could well be numbered if shit does hit the pan.
yeah. I think over recent years as well, as a fan base, we've not really, been taking things lying down. Well, if we disagree with something, the fan base will let
Mm.
let the board, the players, the manager know exactly how they're feeling. So
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. We're gonna end up the podcast there, guys. Thank you for those who watched on YouTube. Thank you to those who listened over on Spotify. Yes, Marcelino Nunez is joining Ipswich Town, and Pella Matson is coming over to Norwich. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Message us on social media if you want as well. Any, like Jack said, any videos on the Liam Manning night, if you are going, just send it over. We'd love to see what happens. And yeah, just cheers, guys, for staying with us, subscribing, liking, and keeping us letting us keep creating content for you guys. I guess it's always a pleasure, isn't it, Jack?
always, if you got any questions, any kind of tips and tricks or things that you want us to incorporate, let us know.
Absolutely. But yeah, take care, guys. We'll see you in the next one.